Jen, how are you?
Or have.
Uh-oh, I need another chair.
See that?
$1,000 for the Y.
Oh.
Who's a nonprofit.
What are you looking for?
I feel like one of my wheels is dragging, like it's stuck on something.
It's not.
Grinding.
Well, yeah.
We can move
Okay.
over.
Because
Oh,
they're-
This crazy lady can
Yeah,
move over with their bags.
And we can, they're making
my bag of bags.
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would give them something.
What is that? Big thing.
This is something unrelated for the.
Just for us. Yeah, so the force.
Yeah.
Like the plan that they did back in '06.
Yeah.
You should have one of these instead of just like a really, really
So I don't know, I think
for money, straight up money.
Yeah.
They did this in '06.
Oh, yeah.
It's like super detailed about when they're gonna allow you and when
They were
and
supposed to be
why.
talking,
Wrote
their
it.
contract is up in October. And I think they were just gonna start negotiations then, because they had to spring to figure it out, so. Select board. I don't know when they're, do you have any idea, anybody? I don't know, they haven't, they should probably be doing negotiations soon, I suppose, with why. I haven't heard anything. I mean, we can ask those, I mean, we can ask things, you know, I don't know what their plan is.
That would be the selectmen, ask the selectmen.
Yeah, because we, you know, I don't know if they have I went to the last, when did the last meeting? Yeah, and I don't remember hearing anything.
Yeah, no, I watched the last meeting and there was nothing.
Yeah, no, I think I missed one meeting and that was it, but I haven't. Sorry, I just can't.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard it come up. I watch all the meetings.
Yeah, I tried to.
Never in mind.
It's so exciting, you know?
When my husband's watching something on TV that I don't like, I just stick the earbuds in.
Yeah, I have it on YouTube.
Go somewhere
I do it
else.
when I'm driving, I listen to it as I go. Is Holly making it, do you know?
Oh, I didn't even ask her.
She did. Wasn't it her that asked me to put or was it you that asked me to put the?
That was me.
That was you. Oh, I thought it was her. Do you want to check with her and see if
Yeah.
she's coming? Because we can wait a sec if she's coming.
She's away this week.
Oh, she is?
She's at camp.
Okay.
She's coming home for the concert.
All right. I guess we can begin then. So, I don't know where we left off. I know we had a lot that we reported back to the, select board on, and I did a little meeting with them, after, you know, keeping up to date what we're doing. From there, it was some reach out to some stuff that we had kind of talked about all along. Is there any update on the Boy Scout trails, or just they're
No.
still trucking along at the moment, but?
I was hoping that there would be by now an update. So at the last meeting, we talked, right, about how we read his proposal, Holly signed it, then he needed to go before the council or whatever it's called for Boy Scouts to get it final approved. And so after Holly did the signature, I think maybe a week or two max went by, and I texted Tom Cormier and I said, hey, just let me know. I was kind of poking like,
Yeah,
you know, as soon as you want to start, let me know. I'll be there to help. And he said, will do. And that's,
That's it.
yeah.
That's one more.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just keep that under I'll put it under old businesses, I guess, and we keep track of it as we go.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts.
And if I don't hear anything,
Do we have a copy of the proposal?
Yeah, they used one last week.
I don't need it right now, but if you wanna scan it and send it, I'd like to.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
We should
it's actually in the
put it into
last packet to
folder,
the
huh?
select
Oh,
board.
it is on?
The entire
No, we
packet
should.
and all documents that I gave them, which was like some trail maps, the Boy Scout proposal, our whole things that we've been doing, is all in the last, select board packet. Which will
Oh.
probably be
Okay,
the last agenda, but this is, I did scan that in and put that in so the whole town can have access
okay,
to
great,
that.
thank you.
I did do that. As well as, yeah, as well as like the trail maps that we had went with it, and I think some of the stuff you had done, Karen, was in there too. So I put it all in one big
Okay.
package for everybody, so we could go from there. So we'll just keep Boy Scouts under old business.
that reminds me too. Well, we'll get to it, the talk with Matt Henyon about the grants, but in preparing for that, I pulled a lot of stuff from folders that you had created, the PowerPoint. There was a few other things in there that were so handy to just have in that shared folder to be able to share with him.
It's
I was
kinda
thinking
funny.
about that, and I was going through your survey result, like your survey summary. It was really nice to have that right at my fingertips to explain to him quickly what this was about. So, thank you.
So as we go to that, you'll hear more about our meeting with him, because that's kind of like, that's one that, we're looking at a year or two as it goes. There's instant gratification, and then there's stuff that's just toeing the line as we go. So Boy Scout trails, we steps for ingress and egress into the water. We had an initial quote from someone that Holly sent me down in Elliott. He has a business, and I never heard from the treasurer or the commissioner who did the original big platform we have there. I don't know, but this guy does, as you can see this picture, that's set us up like he does. This is his business. So ballpark, when I just told him, he gave me different prices, what they would be, which is what you see there. Kevin, he's like the gem that we all don't know we have. Oh my gosh, did an amazing job. And towards the end, you'll see Kevin and Holly when they were out there Thursday, did this amazing, whoop, went too far. Did this amazing graph of where we would need steps. And did all the measurements. So I have sent that on to, for the Pines. They were pretty yucky areas too.
I wouldn't say yucky.
Yeah.
But slippery though, like with the roots.
Getting
getting
into
wet.
the water
Yeah,
is
getting
very
out
dangerous.
easy.
In the water, the sand looks really nice.
Yeah.
And all these spots are being utilized
Oh, yeah.
on Thursday.
Mhm.
Did they ever replace or repair the picnic tables in the Pines area?
Nope. We were
Or the
noticing that
area,
too.
no.
They look.
The one I saw that had a nail sticking out through and it was all rotted around it, not painted, paint was too big on. But we went there for the day. Nope. So I have sent these measurements on. He did have a follow-up question on the measurements. I don't know if you saw that, so if you can, I'm not really sure,
Yeah.
just asking.
Yeah, he basically is asking how the measurement was taken.
Yeah.
Basically trying to estimate where the platform would be and just putting the tape measure
Yeah.
out into the water
Yeah.
down to the sands would be a good spot for him to land.
I mean, it's something that he may want to drive. For this many, if this is something we're gonna do,
I would definitely
cost-wise, he
recommend
needs to come out and see
yes.
it before he gives us a final quote. It was gonna be less than 5,000, so this isn't something that would be, like, we have to put out for bids. I don't think we get $5,000 with the quotes he gave me for the small stuff. So
Also-
anyways,
I was wondering too, like, what Kevin had mapped was all the ones that we witnessed that people were actively using. And I was wondering if maybe Acorn would have any input on whether we block some of them off. Some of them are wider than others, and then some of them are really small. And is it worth putting in that many sets
right,
of
or
stairs
maybe put some
versus just
vegetation to block it off.
blocking it off and widening a few others and make it.
How do they
There's
fall
a
in terms
lot.
of location for how we want to segment the Pines?
So you can see here, you zoom in, and there, and he kind of showed those red lines are where people are actively, there's an open spot that people are using.
It's gonna take a second. It's in the PDF, it's harder.
I think the ones in the Pines all need stairs.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
aren't-
Each one of the openings?
Yeah.
See how there's
And
two,
they are spaced out, so there'd be two in each segment.
and honestly, we
Do you
thought
need two in
three.
each segment?
They're all being used
Yeah,
when they're out there on Thursday.
And I think, like Missy had said to us, the problem is, if you don't give people a way to go, they're gonna make their own way, which is gonna cause more damage. So if you do say these two picnic tables now have to go down there to use the inlet, they're just gonna plow their way into the ones that are right in front of them. So I think if it's already schematically where you see people actually kind of staying in the bounds of what is there. And again, these are being done in metal, it's not anything that's gonna rot, which is also the bonus. So, again, I think it depends what you come in for cost for these.
Right.
And, because they're all gonna be different depending on the size that is measured. Um,
And there is none, there's no water access in 3.
Oh, yes,
So.
Right.
That was my
I mean,
little
maybe
note
we should
there.
make one.
yeah,
Right below,
the pump, the church, the steeple,
right below there, I mean, there's, even today with all the vegetation, there's a little bit of, it would be an opening for, it would be good for a dock that could go along, I mean,
nice. Yeah,
that's a
which
nice
would be allowed.
secluded spot because of the jetty and everything, it's quiet,
Mhm.
but be able to go out, walk out into the water would be another selling point for
Big
renting
time.
that,
Yeah, that would be great.
especially in the evening, it's just so.
Sit, throw a fishing line in, go sit with your kid and watch the sunset. Yeah,
I
That's
don't know
really great.
what would take, if there's a floating dock, it would probably just be a permit with the CEO.
Yeah.
That Just
Yeah,
have a
you
line
need, you
pulling
need
up
a,
in the
you need
falls.
CEO permit for a dock.
floating or not,
Yeah.
that would be something to, again, something to present to the select board, so dock.
And then you have to put it in spring and take it out in the fall.
Right. Yeah, if it's a permanent pier, then that would be a DEP thing. I don't think that's possible for the town permit.
Yeah.
That would be a question for Acorn. So-
Yeah, and if not a dock, at least a water entrance. Can't imagine trying to sell that as a venue without water access.
So that's a question for Acorn.
Yeah, over there, there's not much for sandy beach. It's
No.
more rocky, so that's what I was thinking, maybe just having a dock.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
It's not,
Okay.
not as nice on that side of the jetty.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe that makes more sense.
Well, it has been barely used in so many years. I think as use comes, then it would kind of.
Maybe.
itself out a little bit. Or just people that want to put their paddleboard in or something,
True.
and go out that way.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a little more secluded to take your, take your falls into the water. If you're practicing standing up instead in front of everyone. So, all right, so that's where we are with the platform step. So I will keep you guys posted when he comes in with quotes before I submit them to the select board, so we can talk about how we feel about, you know, the prices that he's given us and the prices for our potential dock. And again, you know, I think that if this gentleman would want to come see all these areas if we're doing that many. All right, so then we had a meeting. Some of you were on vacation, they just wanted a couple of us to meet and give them an idea of what our thoughts and process were. So I met, and Lindsay and Kevin and Holly met with Acorn. Do you remember when we met with them?
I didn't-
Tuesday last week? Or the week
It
before?
was a Friday.
Was it Friday?
Week before.
Anyways, we met with Acorn, like I said, I had I'm doing really good tonight. I had made contact with Acorn Engineering and was it AYOT? Was there, AYOT was
I
the
don't
other one?
remember the other one.
These were two firms that were recommended by Missy, the soil district that she's worked with and seen their work through the years on parks and lakes, and said they do a really good job, they're used to DEP in doing these things. I had one or two emails with the company Elliott, and never heard from them again. I gave them what they wanted and there was no follow-up. I got some really good follow-up from Acorn, had a conversation with them on the phone, and then set up a meeting to kind of get an understanding of what they're capable of doing. And then they just submitted that report today, but I'll kind of let Kevin and Holly chime in on our meeting with them and their thoughts and kind of what we went over.
I didn't attend that one.
Oh, that's right, you couldn't make that one.
I had
Holly
company.
didn't make it, she had company.
I had company, but I'm very curious to know what.
Yeah.
I mean, you filled me in through the
Yeah.
emails and stuff, and they seem really responsive and
Extremely responsive. So basically, we told Acorn that, you know, it's 160 acres, you know, right now, we don't know what we're doing, it's really hard because it is so huge. And we would like to have something, a 10-year plan. And I told them we had, you know, someone on the board working on that, I haven't seen it yet, I don't know if anyone's seen what Rusty has going.
yeah.
I know Lindsay's seen it, but I haven't seen it. So in the meantime, you know, we need to have a plan. We need something laid out where we have, okay, we can do here and okay, we can do here. I'm looking at a lot of the grants, not all of them are requiring surveys for some of the stuff we wanna do, like
Yeah.
certain projects with trails or making it accessible or taking care of damage that was done. The other part of the, kind of the other side part of this is the AARP, communities, elder access, I can't remember the whole name of that. Joe Wagner is graciously taking on that wagon and is actually trying to get us into that program. They have like so many grants, it's crazy. And with that, it's making everything accessible for handicap and the elderly, which would be fabulous.
So one of my questions, and the reason I was asking about the Eagle Scout proposal, is that going to be elder friendly?
No,
It's not.
see, I think that this was in the works before we even started talking about I'm not sure when they first proposed this, but this is something that Colin wanted to do for his Eagle Scout project. And so I envisioned this being a kind of start to clear the paths and get the trails established. And then how Matt explained it, the grant guy from Land and Water Conservation, was that you can phase things. So maybe, a few years down the road, as we
We get funding to make them elder accessible.
start with one project and accomplish, and then work on the next and do it in phases. And so I think that this is step one, and let Colin do that to complete his project, and then think about which portion I don't think we could do the whole thing, but I do think there are portions of it that we could do, that we could go for.
Identify which,
Mhm.
the ones, the steep ones down by the lake would
Yeah.
not be feasible
Yeah,
versus some of the ones that
Mhm.
are more flat terrain.
I think you gotta build it first and then go from there and see what you can make accessible.
So the thought process is if we can, well, I won't say if, when we get into the AARP grant possibilities, it would be to take those trails and the portions of them that can be made into handicap and elder accessible, to then take the grants and to go towards that. This is at least getting the clearing going, because I think he said still like 6 feet wide he's doing or something like that. It was in here, I think Holly said it was 6 feet wide.
I don't remember if it's
So
specified.
it's still
And
wide.
AARP doesn't have to be handicapped, it just has to be elder, right?
Right,
Because
They,
that's a
sorry.
whole
but they do
different
have the
thing.
funding for both, which would be nice to have even,
It's really expensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is something that I would.
Right now,
Maybe a little phase.
this time of year, with the proposed trails, you are literally bushwhacking. You don't know that there's ever was a trail there. So I'm thinking this is a little optimistic too, on what he can complete by November, because that's a lot.
That's when
But-
he ages out, November?
Yeah,
But that depends on community help you can get.
right.
Ah! Thank you.
I didn't know that to pay you next, sorry, I was like, is that what I think it is? I'm like, well, yes, it is. Sorry, Karen.
Thank you.
So it was a really great meeting. Kevin was able to pull up, like, we were in a Zoom meeting, was able to pull up pictures of what it looked like on the lake. And just by looking at it, the woman who's the engineer, I can't remember, what was her name? Which one is she? It was Alex and, they're on here.
Yeah. Alex the next one, and
Excuse me. Alex, I keep doing that, keep thinking it's word. I'm gonna stop doing that. Oh my gosh, now I totally screwed it up. See what I did? Oh my gosh, people, now I have to reopen it. I gotta stop touching things. Ugh. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Let me just go down right, and learn anything. Okay, here they are. Oh, so this is Alex. This is one of them we met, and then we met the other one on the next page.
Oh, okay.
Aubrey.
Aubrey's.
Okay, Aubrey is the engineer, and she worked for the DEP. So she's very familiar with things that are required, especially near the water. But she instantly could tell that she's like, oh yeah, your backflow's not working. So she could just see by the colors that, I don't know if you guys have ever looked where, you can explain it better than me, so go for it.
The color of the water, right?
No, into the water, into the ground, and how it leaches in. There's they tried to build berms or something.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Which we didn't really realize, but she's like, it looks like they tried to do like, so the lake is backfilling into that swamp area and you can see it go through the woods.
Mhm.
And that's where it's coming in.
Yeah,
So no amount of piping is gonna displace that water that's coming in because it's coming in from the lake.
Right.
So she's like, oh yeah, she goes, so she had all these great ideas, even she like almost create like a mini pond that stops it, you wouldn't swim in it, but it'd be, but she just had all these really great ideas. And she said the one thing that, which I love to hear is they're very cognizant of being fiscally responsible to towns and working with towns with grants, and they know these things are expensive and we're a small town, but these are the projects they like, but they know that we don't have a lot of money. But to do things that, like she said, we like to plan projects that community can help with. So if you have community members that have equipment or can come do things, they try to plan it so, if you have community members that can do this or are capable of doing that, it helps offset the costs. So they look at their projects in those avenues as well. They're coming on the 23rd at 3:00 on a Friday, for anyone that wants to go. And someone had asked us to open to the public. It is open to the public if you want to come, but it is a business meeting, so we would ask that the public not ask questions. If they want to submit questions to us in advance that we feel they're good to ask, we can. But this is their time, they're being compensated for this time, so we want to keep it to our committee's thoughts and our vision of what we've been talking about, so we kind of can hone in on what we've been talking about. And the biggest thing we talked to them about right now is creating the walk down,
yeah.
the wraparound walk down to the lake and taking care of water. That's basically our goal number one. And then have them walk the trails, because we told them the trails are kind of, she could see there were issues with the trail and runoff and nice things we heard. Kevin has mentioned it before and they confirmed it, that we have pictures of what it used to look like, sandy, and it was much different condition. That sand that's now on the water, because it initially was on the bank, we can reclaim that and bring that back up.
So that's what I
So
was
that's allowed by rules.
going through your survey results again. It was the beach, the bog, and the walk down and the hill. And so I would love to know, and we can talk about that at the meeting. I'd love to know their input on and even like amongst ourselves, what do we think is with the money that we have? Like, what can we get done with the money that we have, and then prioritize those.
And
I
that's
think
what that's what they're gonna do.
Okay.
Like, if you look at their scope of work that they give us, they'll be able to give us, I don't know if you guys were able to look at this before you came. If I can stop. I hate PDF for a reason. Why are you doing that? They actually gave us. It's bigger. They actually gave us, to the point they would actually give us an actual road to follow for what we want to get done, and the cost for all of this was here. So to meet with us, right here, is this is the initial site visit. This is preliminary reports and recommendations. So they're going to give us a list of potential projects, describe specific needs for each, and inform the committee's decision. And then they're willing to come and meet with us if we would like them to, and present the entire thing to us where we can have Q&A with them. So they actually would give us visuals and graphics and a layout of what we're asking them we want done. They're going to tell us a total breakdown on how to make it happen, which is what we need. That's where we're stuck. Because we're like, oh yeah, it's going to cost us to do that. Oh, but that's just for the supplies. This is giving us everything with graphics. Because we can't it's lovely to say we want to do things, but when we don't have, like Karen says, a roadmap,
Yeah.
you can't visualize it. So they're going to give us the visualization by telling them what we want. They're like, she could see how the water coming down the hill will be an issue, so they're already thinking of diversion of the water. That's why they want to come and see everything in person. So basically, we're there to walk the area that we want them to give us the vision on, and the cost and the breakdown and the graphics, but also to understand the entire park and our 10-year goal for the park. So that way they get a vision. So when we say, hey, can you come and meet with us and talk about the ponds? They already know. They already have a working knowledge of our park. So where they have a landscape architect and they have an engineer on staff. And the other guy, excuse me, is, I can't remember, do you remember who he was? William Savage, he's in PE. You know, they have a whole staff to work on these things, so it's not just one person that's responding to us. And they all have different, like, strengths in what they do and knowledge, which is what I really liked about them. They're really dynamic, really nice ladies. And they were really excited to come see our park.
And the walk is
The 23rd,
What time?
August?
3 o'clock,
August.
which is next
You can try.
week from Friday. So the 23rd at 3, we're gonna meet, Lindsay's gonna try to be there with us as well. And anyone that can make it to the walk. I took time off from work to go. That's why we kind of, they gave us 2 days. I had hearings on one of the days they asked for, then the other one was available, by taking time off. So, we'll meet at 3, walk the park, and like I said, they know we have to replant, they know there's issues with trees that have come down. They said very important, if you have pictures of any damage whatsoever, keep it. They said that's actually really good for actually grants as well, to have show damage. So if there's anything we have showing what it used to look like, the damage that was done, all these kind of photographs are extremely handy for grants or for DEP approval. So, you know, we probably have to, you know, just have a big picture file and drive and just keep them all in there. And I don't know if we need to label them differently, but get them all in there if we have them.
Those trees that you tagged, still surround.
Actually, they took down quite a few in the pines that they had flagged up.
Oh, good.
And they're still flagged.
Yes, they're still flagged.
They're still there, but they're flagged.
I do know that like when I talked to the town manager, whoever was going to do them was able to take them down but not remove them. So she knew that when they hired them, but they couldn't get anyone else there to take care of the dangerous situations that these trees were causing. So that was one thing that still needs to be done, is trees need to be hauled out of there.
The good news is they're safely on the ground now.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, so we don't have to worry about that. So I would definitely encourage everyone to read their whole report. It's really a great report. They have, it's a very nice report, lists everything we talked about, what they do, their understanding of the issue, what we talked about. So this is where we kind of have, you know, like the pines, and so everything we talked about, they summarized it in here. So there's nothing that, you know, will be a shock when we're there. So they have pictures, they've seen them. Kevin did some nice showing where things are down there and what's going on. And we talked a little about the history down there. And that was it. So, and I said Lindsay was there as well to listen in. And so we met about an hour, I think. Showed him graphics, talked about again. We just mentioned the beach area and coming down, keeping that hill for sledding for wintertime for Parks and Rec. And that was our talk with Acorn. So, and it's in here on the agenda, August 23rd at 3 p.m. So now I guess we can go on to, any questions about the meeting or anything?
Can I ask one more question about the Boy Scout
Of
project?
course.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So it says in here that they're actually gonna cut new trails. So is there an opportunity for us to kind of work with them to determine where, like in terms of the most level that would be good for elderly, or if they're gonna cut new trails where they might be?
Didn't you already do that?
I did it, but so I had walked what I could find for old blazes on
I remember
trees
that.
existing.
Yeah.
Those were blue. And then someone had, and it turned out to be them. Someone had put flagging tape, orange flagging tape, on a new. Well, maybe it had already existed, but any remnants of the trees had been logged. So maybe there were no old blazes there. So I don't know if it's brand new that they were cutting, or if they're just going by memory where they kind of thought it was and flagged it out. And I think that's what they meant by the new trail. And when I walked it, I walked the blue line and their new proposed loop, but I never did that with any sort of
I'll process them too.
Yeah,
I think, again, this is just a
The
start
ARP.
and we're gonna make so many more hopefully from this. That I think if he has a deadline of November, trying to meet with them to get out there to say, hey, we want to go this way or that way, really probably doesn't make sense. Let them do
Right,
what they're gonna do and then we totally can do more from
We can
there.
go out and look for our own loop to do that's more elderly.
Yes.
And bring in the elderly grants. for
Yeah, I'm
that.
just thinking
Right.
from a cost perspective, why do it twice if you can?
Well, this
If
is
you can
free.
get full cost
This is
of it,
free.
This is free.
No, I know, but if we go back
yeah.
and do,
Yeah.
cut other trails, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be free necessarily.
I mean, there are definitely portions of it that I can think of offhand that would, and I don't know what qualifies for elderly friendly. Is it the elevation, like the gain in elevation, or I'm not sure. There are portions of the Blue Trail that are your side hilling, right? So they're not. But then there are sections I think would be relatively easy, but I don't know
But I think if
what
there's any elderly,
qualifies.
if there's any elderly using Bunganut right now, they're not looking for smooth. Because there is no smooth at Bunganut to get down there. So I think,
It's more of what would they
Right.
consider.
right,
Yeah, I
elderly
don't
friendly.
know.
right. Or maybe it's the tying a rope that they can
Criteria.
hold on to on the way down. I mean, who knows what. Well, I mean, again, this is like Liz said, starting off, let's see what they come up with. Let's see the shape, how far he gets in this project, how
Right.
he ages out. You know, weather is of course big, depending on that. If we have a rainy season, it's gonna be tough.
I just thought too that, Dave Alves has been talking about his project and maybe we could, totally separate from Bunganut Committee, but I think there are
Right.
plenty of other opportunities for trail systems on
Yep.
town-owned land, on other plots in town that maybe we could,
What she's
Really
talking about
focus
is the
on-
harvesting. And Dave started planning on having them harvest it so that it's all Bunganut. It's like free of slash, free of stumps, everything. So it's already gonna be great walking level. So maybe Dave I was hoping he'd make tonight, because Dave is our liaison for the committee, for the select board. I think he'll have great insight into where we could maybe do something like that, you know?
Where is he harvesting?
There's places all over the town properties, the town owns.
Oh,
It's part of comprehensive plan we've been looking at, the town-owned property,
Not,
and trying to form a land
Bug.
trust, so that we think we have the land available for town, water and sewer, you know, we have a public works department area, we have a place maybe for a new school, we have, so this land is protected. But we're also harvesting to gain the money to go towards, and then the land locked and land that is not abused to potentially selling it, but we're harvesting what we can to get what we can. So that's not, that's not here. Can you think of anything else we talked about with them?
No, they just had some great ideas about how to do that.
Really good ideas. Yeah, and they know like our thoughts are like, it'd be nice to have a changing station down below, you know, bathrooms that weren't porta potties would be lovely, but we know that's way down the road. I'm still looking into the whole,
Improving the handicap
yes,
access
Yeah.
down below and also for, and carrying out for paddleboards.
yeah. So that's that. So again, they'll be open to lots of questions and they're really excited. They were willing to meet with us via Zoom tonight, but I knew it was too kind of last minute. I wanted you guys to read their report first, and I just thought it was best for you guys to meet them then.
where do I find the report?
It's at the end of the packet I sent everyone. I sent it to you too. Yep, I checked, I did email, I emailed 2 versions, but, because I added something, so I emailed you a couple times, the agenda for tonight. So it's in the packet that I sent everybody.
Okay.
So then we have Holly and I met with Matt,
Henyon.
I can never say his last name. And he was the gentleman that Holly had told us to listen to that podcast. The gentleman from Acton, we're speaking to some people in Colorado about land trust and what like Acton has done with their land and things like that. And he works for,
He is the grant coordinator for Maine's Land and Water Conservation Fund.
and I've never met anyone so excited about grant writing. in my
Yeah.
life. He is probably in his 30s and he is gung ho. He's like, I could talk to you about this all dictate. I mean, he loves his job and he's good at it. Like he is so knowledgeable. It's a long process. Like before we could ever even see any money, we're looking at 2026 potentially.
Yeah.
Just so everyone understands. But what's available to us if it happens? Which is a side note, really funny how things, people always like, oh, there's a right over here, there's a right over there. According to their records, Lyman doesn't own one. The state does. But we have the deed proving we own it. So people out there listening, not all documents online are accurate. So just saying,
Well,
I'm probably gonna get a nasty text now.
in,
No.
in kind of researching this grant, you can go on the website and you can look at other grants that were awarded in your area. And I saw one in Lyman, and then, oh, sure enough, in 74, Bunganut was acquired through this grant in 1974. And so that was like a red flag immediately to him, thinking that that was state-owned land, that we were either leasing or some other agreement. I don't know, but we have the deeds in the folder, and it clearly states that the state deeded it to the town of Lyman.
Because the catch-22 is if you had funding from this program towards your land, you're held accountable to keep it maintained.
Oh, yeah.
So if we didn't keep it maintained, we would be already at fault and would not be able to go for the program again. If someone else owned it, they'd be in trouble. So it's finding out. So we were not granted that monies initially, the state was. And so now this is Lyman looking for grant money. So, because we had to go through a preliminary 15 question with him to see if we could even move to phase 2. One.
This
Phase
was a
one.
yeah,
It's very intense.
evaluation.
But they really like handhold you through the whole thing.
They really do. I really think that they do. I think he's there for you as your guide through it.
Yeah.
He gives you homework, lets you know what is needed, and then you're like, it's like a constant back and forth with him is what I understood. But yes, he said there is a perpetual stewardship.
Things that can cause problems, and we did express this to the town managers, all areas need to be accessible to the public. So, like, the Y may have their areas, but after hours, it must be available to the public. Point blank. If it's not, grants don't fly.
He did give us some homework too, and to be honest, we met with him on Friday, and it was a lot. I just furiously scribbled notes here, and I need to really sit down and go back through my notes, and I can type them up, and so that everybody can kind of read his thoughts. But he did say that he would like to know more about he would just like to get a better understanding of our relationship with the Y, and then going forward too.
Because that will impact grants.
The buildings that are on site that the Y is kind of holding access to, like that's a no-no. Like everything on site needs to be publicly accessible.
I feel like then we shouldn't maybe answer him with that until we know what's going to happen. Because if it's going to change in
He knows
October,
that.
that's really
He knows
soon.
that. He knows that.
Yeah.
I don't think, and that's something that, there's no reason we can't have access to those buildings.
Right.
It can be done differently than it's being done. If there's someone either, they can lock their records up, and then it should be publicly accessible.
Right. So maybe we,
The contract that says that we can't have access to it.
no, there is, I think.
I don't think so.
Then it needs to be stated clearly that we can.
Yep, so that's something that has to be very clear, because,
Hours of operation or something like that.
this is
Yeah.
where schools, this kind of grant allows for public bathrooms and helps you build the bathrooms. Sounds like, bathrooms. So there's lots of things that this kind of grant funding is even more larger scale.
It is, and I think like we can, he suggested we can piece it,
Basis.
in phases. So,
So that's probably important information for the select board to have
Yes.
as they're
Mm.
renegotiating.
Yes, I did call the town manager and speak to her about that, and let her know if there are concerns, if we're going for grants. That we have to be able to have, like he asked about the field side, is it open to the public? Or do you lock it up and it's only available to those that rent it? And we said, no, it's available to the public. As long as we're not locking it.
It's locked, but it
Yeah,
should be
but it
not.
should be, yeah, as long as the public is allowed to go out there and play ball if they wanna go play ball, and we're not locking it up and saying, no, you can't be on there. Yeah, they can't be on there when someone's practicing or someone's.
Right, right.
Things like that. As long as we're not saying, oh, it's only for teens, we get granting for that, we get grant funding for that side, for roads, for parking lots, it covers paving. It covers making more parking, it
It would be
covers
huge.
lights, it's like, it covers all of that.
That should be phase one to do the parking lot on
We
the other
talked about
side.
that. Well, even making the one that's there.
Yeah.
Paved. And
Or
so
bigger.
This covers like all that type of thing. It was, so we were really surprised with the grants covered. But it's really A to B to make this a working, functioning, nicely done facility. Building new fields, things that are needed. So it was,
We did say it was okay that we have a fee structure,
yes.
and that's all outlined in their financial manual that we
One
need to
thing that
read.
would have to potentially happen though is Lyman residents might have to buy a $5 pass for the year. Because we cannot not charge Lyman residents anything
Oh, right.
and other people. So it might be that they have to pay $5 for a sticker for the entire season. And
When you say other people, you mean other
Out-
renters or anybody?
anybody else that comes in that's not a Lyman
Non-Lyman
resident. has-
On the water side.
So for instance, Lyman residents don't have to pay to go to Lyman
Right.
on the
Right,
water side.
right,
And we charge anyone else that comes through.
right.
We can't do that if we're going to get grants. Lyman residents would have to pay a fee. But it could be, he said, a $5, nominal $5 for the year, access to that side. And we can keep the fee structure we have going. It doesn't impact that, but that's one thing that they do look at in where you grants. Is it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be equal, it has to be something, not much. So it was lots of little things like that that we learned.
Yeah.
That we need to present to the board, you know, access to the entire facility, cover all areas, you can't bar things off, you know, just, it was just really interesting. The whole thing was interesting.
It's so Lyman, it's a reimbursement program, so Lyman, we would have to fund it up front, and then there's a 50%, up to 50% reimbursement after that, and includes any landscape engineering or architectural
So
costs.
even what we're paying Acorn could be reimbursed. Up to 50%.
Up to 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at your projects as you go and what you're looking to get funding for, and it'll kind of tell you whether you're gonna pass or not before you even submit it. So there's not really any danger of, oh, we did this project and we're counting on that. You're already gonna know whether it's gonna qualify or not. And that's kind of the good thing about this contact for the funding.
Should we perhaps have him make a presentation to the select board?
He,
Let the select board ask them questions, him questions, or what do you?
well, he's gonna come on his own when we get towards it and just walk the park on his own. He's fully comfortable. He's like, no, I do this all the time. I'm just gonna go mosey along and he'll go and look at the whole place and give us his report.
Well, and then give
He'll-
the
he'll
report
talk
to the select, no,
Well,
just,
yeah, he'll just
I
probably.
don't know that
talk
we're
about-
ready to present anything to
No,
the select board
we're
at
not.
all.
This is just
Yeah.
him saying,
You
you know what?
No.
I think after our meeting with Acorn, we'll have something that we can go to them and say, we'd like to tackle this with the funding we have. But we're not anywhere near, I think, knowing that this gentleman has looked at our park and says, yes, you guys definitely could go for grants for this. I could see you getting grants for A, B, and C. We have an idea. We can put that in our pocket of, okay, we know we can get grants for this. So this, when we go for a project here, but again, it's a long process. It's a
Really
year
long.
to write the grants, to go for them.
Well, it would be
Committees only meet so
due,
long.
it would be due by the last Friday in June of 2025 is when we would have to have our application into MAT.
Mhm.
And then
And he says
there
wait
are,
till the absolute end, it opens March 1st.
Yeah.
And it's like some people submit March 1st, he goes, we don't even start looking at them until like July 1st. So
he said, take your time.
take your time, wait till the last day of June, 5 o'clock that Friday afternoon.
So I'm assuming we'll be competing with other projects in towns and so
Yeah, it is
municipalities for the
competitive,
grant
he said.
money.
But
So
the
it's
fact
not,
that we haven't
it's not
had,
a given that
Right.
we would get the money.
but the fact that we haven't had it is
Yeah.
good.
He does some
Yeah,
sort of
but-
rubric scoring system to try to determine how good our chances are.
So we.
And I think part of that is his site visit, and gathering the check. He had 15, questions for us,
Mhm.
and based on how we answered those, I think it goes into your score. And I got the vibe from him that we were a really good candidate
Mhm.
because
Only flag was the water.
what did he say when he said, how would you consider from poor to excellent? How do you consider the status of your,
And we said.
and I thought it was a trick question. I was kind of like, and then
I said, point blank poor. I said, Holly, you can contradict me. I said, it's poor. I said, I spent a day there with my son. I won't be doing it again. Poor.
I agree.
But I think
It's not enjoyable.
that
No.
the impression I got from him though was that is a good thing.
No, when I told him
In that we haven't
this
Had a
map.
grant for
Yeah.
this before.
Mhm.
I don't know if I wrote any notes on that, but I got a good vibe from that honesty.
Yeah. No, and he was
And that-
talking, he's like, I might be there this coming Friday or he plans on actually going out there this next month, just so I'm more interested in going through the process. So he's keeping in touch with us. He sent us an email, which I can forward on to everyone, with a list of kind of homework for us to do. So I'll forward that on to, we just got that. I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing, so, he responded to us and said, here's kind of a list of homework to start doing, so I'll forward that to everybody. This is just for grants, and he will come and do the process. What, do you want us to meet you there? No, I'm just gonna show up and do my thing. He wants to see it in action, he wants to just go walk the whole thing, so that's what he said he'd do. Which is great, we don't have to meet him, and he'll email us when he's done. But just the questions that we had, that one flag, as they call it, that potentially could, derail some things, but again, I think if we speak to the select board about it, and they know it can be handled appropriately.
And I do think regardless, either the beach, the bog, or the stairs are items that we want to address no matter what. If we could get the grant, then great.
Yeah,
I
I'll
think-
cover it.
And I think we should just spend as if we weren't getting it, but,
Yeah.
I think, but if we do decide to go ahead with the grant, there's like a year's worth of work that needs to be done, before the end of June,
Yeah.
2025.
But like you said, if we're gonna proceed like we are not getting the money,
Yeah,
because we know it needs to be done no matter what, but then if we can get half reimbursed for what we did,
yeah.
that would be fabulous. And if not, we'll have money to do the next improvement we want to do. So we can have everything kind of,
You said your project had to be shovel ready prior to submitting your application, so that means permits in place.
so
And so
anything from
forth.
DEP would be, and again, that's where Acorn Engineering.
Prior to,
Submitting the application in next June.
So we need to know that we pass muster for DEP, CEO.
Before he can
Board.
submit it to the federal.
Right, so it's almost like
review.
Acorns first,
Yes, that's
then
why we
this.
need
Yes.
So
Because
that's why I was excited we met with Acorn and
Yep.
even more excited when we met with Matt. And no one required a survey.
One of the things I wanted to ask him about was his thoughts on how we could maybe increase our funds, like that YouTube video that I sent you guys the link to was really focused on how to boost your pot and like kind of hooking up with donors and so forth. And I forgot to ask him about that, if he had any ideas.
Well, we could email him and ask him. There's no harm.
That YouTube video made it seem like they have a list of wealthy donors that are just ready to contribute to something like that. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'll,
so like
I
you
can
can
ask
name like sections of the park after them or something
Yeah.
like
Why
that.
not? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was on vacation when we said that, we never watched it and had to go back and do that.
Yeah, it's really, I listened to it when I was driving. It kept freezing, but I listened to most of it. It was really fascinating, their whole talk and how they got the funding for theirs. And even the town wound up agreeing, which was shocking, but Acton agreed for $100,000 somewhere along the way to put this all into trust to make this all happen. So it was really just became a great community project and then some great donors and made it happen. And they have a really nice area going on now. So that was our meeting with Matt. I think Holly, Do you want to follow up with an email with him and ask him about donors and how you find them?
Yeah,
Why
about
don't
how we
you
might
do
be
is follow
able
up
to.
as we're doing our homework, ask him that question. Doesn't hurt to have that in our pocket as well.
I have a question about if we were to charge Lyman residents for the entrance on the water side.
Okay.
That could be, it's optional, right? Like when you go to get a dump sticker, they could purchase, we could offer an option to get a Bunganut pass for the year type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And then if people know where that $5, whatever it is going, they're probably more apt to do it. So if we had a
Where is
specific,
it going?
That's the other thing.
well, that's what I'm saying. If we had a specific thing, like the money for this sticker is going to this project, like,
Yeah.
and we can change it yearly, whatever we tell them, but this is what this year's funding is going towards.
You could probably explain this better than I can, but didn't he say we needed to put together like warrant articles and get this, wasn't there something said about that?
Yeah. it's
You need a
probably-
town buy-in to do this.
Yep.
And so I
it's in
think
the
that
email.
could be
Mm.
part of,
Mhm. But that, remember, we can
how that
have,
would
we
be
can do it
worded.
at the meeting and there can be, there's an election in, what is it, March or something? We have our election for, or what is it? Oh, May. When we have elect our officials, there's also the election then. Yearly, that could be done then as well, or at town meeting. It still would make it before submission, which is in June.
But yeah, I think that you need the town buy-in to do this as well.
Yep.
That's part of it. And so, that could be explained then,
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, this is gonna change, but this is why.
Yeah.
So that's, I know I wrote notes on that too. My notes are at my office and I didn't go to work today. So,
I would say, like, at that point of presenting it as a town buy-in or whatever, and a plan, at that point, they're gonna wanna see the actual 5-10-year plan, whatever it is, so that it is spelled out.
which I think is where Acorn comes into play. We'll have something
Right.
to be able to say,
Yeah.
this is the overall goal of the park.
Mhm.
It's a vision. It's not set in stone. So if we show something happening on Warren Field side, it's not set in stone. It's just, this is visions, this is goals, this is what they see according to the land that we have and the shape of the land. And they asked if there was wet spots, there are wet spots. So they know what's going on. So their whole goal is to make things, keep it environmentally, not disturb the environment the best they can, but also keep it safe. And then repair things that have been damaged through the years and any pictures we have from before. They understand the whole issue with the pines. Even the pines that are still there now that, it's almost like the domino, you have the big pine came down and then the next one came down, the root system's weakened, and it's gonna keep happening down in there causing more damage. So there are ways with DEP to mitigate, to keep the big explosions and damages from happening with some of these trees that are gonna cause problems. And they know about all that stuff and to be able to help us do that. So that was our meeting with Acorn and then land use, so Matt from, I can never say the whole thing, there's initials to it.
LCWF.
Yep.
No, I don't know. Land and Water Conservation Fund,
So.
LWCF.
LWCF. So we can ask them about the warrant articles, because again, we do have kind of sort of homework to do and to get it. I'm not worried about making the November ballot because they have to have that done by September 3rd. But warrant articles for our town meeting, which is in June, which is before that Friday. So we're gonna be okay. So we have to work towards having those ready so we can start working on those kind of next couple meetings. He said he kind of even has stuff like language that we can use.
Yes.
So this is
he
not
did.
reinventing the wheel, this is not super specific to, it's just copy pasting, wheels that present to the town, what we're trying to do. I think the town will be in board where we're trying to get money for, to match grants and save tax dollars. So he was really excited about meeting with us in our project in the park, and he says, sounds just like you could really use help. I'm like, yes. So that was it with him. Any more questions about Acorn or Matt or Boy Scouts? Or anything so far? So, action items. These are just things I stuck down here as I was
You skipped
thinking.
the amphitheater.
Oh, amphitheater, sorry, yeah, that was on there.
Yeah, someone just had reached out to Parks and Rec and had asked if the what we call the amphitheater is available for rentals for a small wedding venue. I think that's what she said. And we just hadn't talked about that yet. About
They want
that
it for?
side. What's that?
Did they already?
Next summer.
For ceremony or the whole shebang?
That's a good question.
Might be worth looking into fixing up the Hannaford Amphitheater, get a sponsor or something.
That's right. Hannaford amphitheater, I like that, Kevin. You gonna go talk to them? Drop your little, do your design, Kevin, knock it out of the park. Present it to Hannaford. And then Hannaford can cater their wedding. Oh, wouldn't that be
And then I'll go
great?
to Market Basket.
Yeah. Why not? You can see who wants to be the taker. Could try.
Okay.
Isn't one of the problems with weddings is the alcohol?
That's what I said. I was wondering if it was just the ceremony or the whole.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's just a
the-
ceremony.
Yeah.
That's perfect for
I
a
think
ceremony.
just the ceremony.
right?
She said, I was hoping to find out if Bunganut Lake Park is available to rent for weddings, ? There's an area to the left of the swim area that has the wooden benches, and I wasn't sure if that was available to be used for a small wedding ceremony.
So it's a
So I
ceremony.
think
Do they need a notary?
I can double check with her, but I think she's implying that the ceremony would be there and then perhaps.
Unless they
For the-
wanted the pines for the other part,
Yeah,
maybe
that's what I'm
clarify.
thinking. Next summer, she said.
She probably doesn't even know what the little chapel on the other end.
I don't know. If she's gone over that far to the left, I'm sure she's gone.
The chapel survived all these bad storms,
Crazy.
so its structural integrity has been proven.
Yeah,
Because
there's
just-
no doubt,
Just to
it
be
it
cleaned up a
deserves to
little bit.
be cleaned up just a little bit and loved on,
Mm-hmm.
shown some love.
Oh, we were thinking how cool. We were standing there thinking, it's sad over there. I don't think anybody's used that thing, that chapel,
I know.
at all, because it looks the same exact way that it did when we were there, and whenever we were there in the spring.
That
or
yucky
whatever.
carpet's
Full
gotta
of
go.
leaves, nasty carpet, nasty picnic table. And we were just kind of, yeah, I mean, we've all done it multiple times, but just kind of looking at the possibility
You
of
always
it.
go out there with a leaf blower and I'll bring my pressure washer.
I mean, that kind of thing to me is crazy. Like easily a picnic table and some carpet should be town paid for and replaced and fixed.
They can't even, the picnic
It's
tables
full
down
of
there
leaves
aren't
and
even,
it's-
so
It's sad.
there's that.
It's embarrassing, really, that we're
Yes.
charging people money for that.
Yeah, it's
It's
silly.
embarrassing.
Hands down.
I would like to know if anybody has rented that out. It doesn't look like anybody's
No.
stepped foot in there.
Because even getting down there, it's like, I don't think anyone knows you can go down there. Doesn't even look like you can.
But I would think that based on, I don't know how it's currently being advertised.
It's not.
It's not right now.
That's part of the problem.
It's being shown with pines and barbecue grills.
I'm wondering if people have inquired or said, hey, we'd like to, and then maybe see it and say, never mind.
People have showed up there
How
with
could they have
food to
had no
barbecue and not realize
inquiries?
there's no more barbecue grills, because that's what got put out this year. So, it needs more accurate description. It's a work in progress. You know, it needs to be, it needs some help.
I think there may be something to be said for us to maybe come up with like some description to help in that sense, maybe a separate meeting to just focus on that and our recommendation to the board, because if it ends in October, they're probably going to start talking around then, and that's coming real quick.
If we want to have like a mini workshop outside of this, where we just
Yep.
talk and sit around, whether it's here at the library, if we can't get the room, and just
Come up
Sit
with
and spitball
some
what we
sort of
want
a
to say.
plan or an idea for them to go off of, because I think they're
our
going to end up
concerns,
asking
what
us.
we're trying to
Yes.
do.
They're going to end up asking us for advice, I think, because that's what they tend to do with this type of thing. And we might as well have an idea before
Yeah.
then. And it's better to be ahead of those things than by the time, if it's not talked about until like January, February, it's like, okay, well, it's right. And spring's right around the corner. And
Yeah. Well, I guess, one thing I'll throw out there, which we could just put under I'll do it under other historic agenda. Since we're talking about that area, is if, if we as a committee wanna try to help the chapel a little bit after, let's get past summer, because I don't know about you guys, but summer's kicking my butt for schedule. Maybe when it cools off a little, September, October, go out there with rakes, leaf blowers, get that carpet out of there, see what shape that table's in, does it need to be painted, totally just take it out of there. We need to carry it out, we do. I have a little hand truck, but I don't know if we can get it down like that. And just clean it out, pressure wash it. I'll bring my pressure washer, it's gas powered, you won't be, put the hose in the water with a thing on
Well,
it.
it also needs repairs too, so maybe Acorn can help with that as
Yeah,
well.
and give us an estimate, what it would cost to repair it.
Who's responsible for the tables down there?
For why? For maintaining them?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's
Or replacing
clear,
them. Some of them are not
They
even
usually-
If they're gonna
reasonable.
pay.
because I thought that
They were
it
supposed to paint them.
went to the town
Yeah, but
now.
they're beyond
The town, the
painting.
ones that are, well, the Y is supposed to report to the town when they're not usable. Which they did get a new one that's down there, but that was the only one they were told needed to be replaced. So the ones that are there are supposed to be painted, including the new one that was purchased. But the Y is supposed to tell them when they do not meet muster and need to be replaced. Because they're eyes on. They're supposed to be there, eyes on the park. I mean, there are issues, there was issues with people on the Y side.
Mm.
Recently, do you know about that whole?
Squatting?
No, the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Should I say it?
It's not relevant.
It's a no-no. In case anyone doesn't know this in the book, you cannot do your laundry in the lake. And you cannot swim naked at the lake. It is illegal. So I don't think that's bad to say that out loud. We might need to post those rules, just saying.
Are you kidding?
I am not. They went to the Y side and I think it was Jaybird she was. And the other one was doing the laundry. And this Y swimming area. So, and nothing was done. So maybe there needs to be signs posted, maybe the Y people need to actually monitor and walk down on the lake.
Signs aren't gonna do anything.
Or call the cops.
Yeah.
They can deal with them. I know.
We've had some Ken Bunganut stuff going on, that would blow your mind.
Oh, no, no, it would not blow my mind, nope. I see who's down there, which is why I took Cruiser Iron. If there was fleas, they would go. Anywho, so maybe we need signs, clothing is necessary, it's not optional. You could direct them, there's a nudist beach in OB, you can give them the directions right there.
Is there one?
Yeah, there is, there's a section that's,
I guess I do that.
I had a friend who's grandpa.
She has a friend.
Who keeps an eye on
it? Hey, you like to be free, you like to be free. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, encourage them to go where it actually is okay. There's warning signs, and off you go. Okay. So how do we all feel about the amphitheater rental? I mean, what kind of shape is it in? You guys were just there. Would you consider it?
I would have to go back and look at it in that
Well-
mindset. Yeah.
From what I remember, and it's in the minutes somewhere from the select board, the Y fixed that area up in the last 2 years.
I don't know.
Fixed the benches and whatnot.
There are some that have been recently
But not all.
updated, but I didn't know that that was the Y that did that. I thought it was the Boy Scouts, but
I thought so too.
I don't know who did it, so I think it was in the report. Maybe it was the Boy Scouts that did it, but the Y reported it had been
I
fixed.
also have not even been down there after that last big storm. The last big storm, it looked like it worse than the pines.
Yep.
Huge trees.
I guess the bridge is a problem too.
So I haven't been down. I should go over and take a look. But I mean, she, I'm not sure if, she asked about this after having recently visited or not. Maybe she just knew of it and just hasn't been down there in a while.
Either way, I don't think it's worth saying no if it's something that we can clean
Yeah.
up and make happen. If it's next summer, like,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
Do you think
That
that,
would be interesting to know what that person would want.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause
maybe they're okay with it being
it could
run-based.
be
Yeah.
a potential selling point.
Right.
getting some pictures of the ceremony for the.
Yep.
or
Exactly.
something,
Yes.
from expanding.
Are you
But,
thinking like what we charge? Is that what you're thinking, or?
Yeah, or if it's just included and if you're in your Pines rental, if you want to hold a ceremony over there, and then also you're kind of, if it's on a Saturday or Sunday, whatever, and then are you like kind of parading through the public area back to the Pines? If she's okay with that,
Yeah.
then
I mean, you do the same thing if you go to a golf course and get married. You have to go
True.
through the public. So what
Right.
difference does it make?
yeah,
So I think like maybe if they wanted to do it with the Pines rental, they could do it for $50 more to reserve that location or something.
Yeah.
and then you
And
just
then if they just wanted it without the Pines, then maybe $150 or $100 for
hmm
bar, you
Maybe they
know,
don't even
marking
want
it off.
a party.
I would say
Or
don't even
both.
say an amount right now and just say
Yeah, just say
yeah.
yes.
absolutely
And then we'll
available.
make sure it's in decent enough shape
Right.
for them.
Yeah.
And
Just,
it's okay to kind of block that off
Yes.
or just
Yeah.
say, hey,
Yes.
this is private for a ceremony today.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's during a time where the Y is not using that section, right?
Well, they're not throwing.
I assumed she meant weekend,
Yeah.
but she didn't say.
True story.
I mean, who
So,
cares?
yeah.
Even if she meant during the week, we can still, as
Ask the
representatives of the
Y-
town, go block it off. Say, hey, you
Yeah.
can't use the amphitheater today. It's
They
not
go-
hard.
They go to the field side with the kids for that
Right.
little short ceremony.
Right.
It's gonna be a short ceremony, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of that side, I do know there's issues with the bridge going from the beach to the Y. Apparently it's in really bad shape. Is that something we should look at, like a metal bridge, so from this guy that's doing estimates? So it's a one and done? Because this is the second or third time it's like started to collapse.
Maybe we should go take another look at it.
Do you want to take a look and take some measurements, guys?
I'll take a
Because I
look
know,
at
I know
it.
Rusty and Tom had to go fix it once. It was blocked off at one point after another storm because it wasn't usable.
It was really twisted in the spring.
Yeah, and something came out from underneath from the water flowing, which that's where the bottled water backwashes into our lovely bog, by the way. So do you guys want to take a look, maybe get some measurements, and we can just on our own submit it to this guy and for the heck of it, get a quote?
Just get a quote.
Because
Mhm.
they have to do something no matter what. So I think that'll be better than wood.
I think we're more apt to get things in our favor later on from the select board if we are willing to do a little bit of legwork and
Yep.
bring things to them ahead of
Present things to
time.
them Ahead of time. So if you guys can get measurements for me, and it's not a huge bridge, but it goes over the water.
It's a good size one. It's probably the biggest one out there.
Yeah, but I know it's in rough shape. So, all right, so do you want me to present the rental of the amphitheater to the select board? Everyone? And that we think it's a good idea?
As is.
Do you want to go look at it first?
I'll go look at it anyways. 'Cause
So
I'll
I
look
can
at
let
the
them know
bridge.
that we think that renting the amphitheater for weddings is a great idea, and that our
Yes.
committee's gonna look at the condition of everything over there to make sure there's nothing that needs immediate
Yeah, I would just say that.
attention.
And
Do you
yeah,
need to set up any
Any part of the park
conditions?
that wants to be rented for. weddings
Yeah.
would be
It'd be the
available.
same rules and regulations for renting the pine, it's gonna be no different.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes.
same exact thing. And I wouldn't even bring up fee yet because it's going to depend on everything else.
Yeah, once you can just tell her yes, and once, I'm sure, once the select board says it's okay. You know, you can let her know we're looking into it if no one's responded to her yet, so she knows we're looking into it.
I did. I told her we were gonna talk about it tonight.
Yeah, so if you want to let her know that we just need to get a yes from the select board, which is gonna be on our next agenda packet.
I even ask her what she's thinking of paying for it before we throw a
And how
price
many-
out there.
And how many people?
I would ask that how many people and like
All right, so I'm gonna, I'll bring that up to the select board. Okay, so down to action items. I am going to have a table at the yard sale September 14th. The community yard sale's happening again. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to it. You actually get a lot of people show up. It's actually a great day. The library has a bake sale, sells her books. Fire station is usually there with the fire station, someone brings a little donkey to ride. There's some old cars, tons of people rent tables to sell either yard sale goods or things they made. It's a nice little event. So I'm gonna have a table there and,
A table for.
Bunganut. And I'm gonna hope, like you said, come up with something to talk about, maybe that we can hand out to people and look for donations, like I'll have a little jar for donations. I can use my Venmo account if I wanna do that.
I've said this multiple times, but I'm sort of anti-pamphlet because it just goes home and goes in people's trash.
Well, they can take it if they want to, it's there. Because what I really wanted to do is,
QR code.
I wanted
Yeah.
to really, I wanted with two. I have these 2-gallon
Great.
Stanley cooler things, like water dispensers, and they're kind of cute. I didn't know if we wanted to do, instead maybe find businesses that would be able to donate something, we raffle them off and do a raffle of, they don't have to be present to get it.
Yeah.
You know, they can come pick it up at the library or the town hall later on. But just sell raffle tickets to some maybe bigger ticket items that maybe businesses would be willing to donate.
I do think you need something like, that explains the project, whether it be a
I
little
like that.
board or something.
I was gonna have some pictures out there, or like have a laptop showing a little movie of what we're doing, you know, if anyone wanted to see it or talk about it, I have some pictures showing what it looks like, what it used to, you know, just showing what happened, have a poster board behind me, what we're looking to do. Because by then we'll have something from April
Hmm.
that I'll be able to use for visuals.
So you're thinking raffle?
Raffle items, like even like the school had that Yeti basket, if you can get someone to donate a Yeti cooler, or you can get someone to donate a Kindle Fire, whatever. I'll donate my Stanley, I wanted to.
Bistro.
It's like a $50 item, I'll put it out there for raffle, that's fine, I'll donate it.
Yep.
You can even just, if you can't get the items, you can even do a 50-50 raffle.
And you can have that as well, so if people just wanted to do that,
Mhm.
so maybe have a 50/50 raffle, a few items that they want to throw their hat in for that.
It gets complicated to do both at the same time. I'll tell you
Yes.
that. It's too much. Yeah.
Is it?
Pick one and stick with it. Yeah. Just from experience.
Right, I'm trying to think what they would want to do though, like what you think people would more go for at a yard sale.
It's tough at a yard sale because you're going to get stuff. Well,
I've seen really good turnouts at that thing, so.
Yeah, they get a lot of exposure.
Yeah,
It's usually actually quite a big event. It's from 8 in the morning or 8:30 to 2.
I would say at 50/50, everybody likes money, whereas if you have an item you're raffling, you'll have some people interested and some not interested.
All right,
So
so let's do
universally, I think a
50/50.
50/50 is
Yeah.
maybe a better.
yeah. And then we definitely can do something with the other, like do another raffle. And it gives us a little more time. Like having a month to collect items for
Like
a
I said,
raffle
much
is
time.
not
Yeah.
a ton of time. We sort of just fell upon that Yeti thing. It was donated
Yep.
randomly.
Mhm.
So if we just sort of start keeping our ear out, or reaching out.
Because one thing, you guys probably haven't seen it yet, and you're gonna be super jealous.
I was eyeing that.
Did you see this?
I saw that. It's
Did everyone
beautiful.
see this?
Yeah, I saw that.
Aw.
So Lindsay made these. She has 3 different kinds of stickers. So
She
anyways,
literally made it. Is she good at
designed
that
Very
these
stuff?
and
cool.
printed them out. She's actually gonna be at the table next to me,
Cool.
to try to get people to volunteer and be there as exposure for the town. And she's gonna be selling these little stickers there. But I thought, they wouldn't be a bad idea to do something like this for Bunganut. And use this as our, yes, t-shirts, hats.
I
Mhm.
would buy that hat
I would too.
sticker.
I know. So
It's better than the,
I could talk to Lindsay about that if you'd
Well,
like
it's
to
a
and
dollar
find
store.
out.
Yeah, I don't think we want to do.
People selling those.
She's gonna be
Get
at
it
the
out
round
on
table
us.
next to me. This is for the town.
For the-
But
yeah,
if
for
we
the
wanted
town.
to do something for Bunganut and ask her if we could use this emblem for ours.
I don't think we want to do stickers at the same time, but if we
No.
could get hats or
Yes,
something else,
t-shirts,
that would be huge. Yeah.
Can we do that in that
Couple
amount
of
of
coffee
time?
ones right tonight.
I know, and that's just it. So if we had some coffee, you can do them pretty cheap.
I think we could
I
get
have a
them in that
company that I
amount of
used to
time.
work with,
Yeah.
in for business that you can get things very economically done. I can get some pricing and kind of float it with everybody, and I can talk to Lindsay about using that design.
I was just gonna say, how would she feel about that?
Just
We
ask
kinda
about the
ripped off
design first,
design.
and then
Yeah.
if she says
I think
yes,
she'll
then
care. I think, again, if she's just doing stickers for for the town to sell, which people are gonna buy those too for the back of their car, or their like this to stick on their bottles, or their laptop, you know, because people are gonna buy those. I mean, I don't know why we couldn't do merchandise for one of the stickers. 'Cause there's more than
Even
one.
offer to change the wording, like if we could just use her template and just change the wording to say like Bunganut.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you could say Bunganut Park, Line of Maine, you know, yeah, I could just, I'll ask her.
I mean, it probably would sell more not saying Bunganut, probably sell more just saying Lyman.
Yeah.
So I'd just leave it
Yeah.
Lyman.
Yeah.
So-
Branding material.
Let me-
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
it should stay with the town.
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. Let me see what she says. I can ask,
Mhm.
I mean, the other one's more colorful. I mean, I like the antique one. I like this one with the adventure thing because it just makes me think of the park. The other one is a kayaker though, and it's colorful. And the other one is the state of Maine. This is line there, there's a heart where the town is. It's
Yep.
cute. I can send you, actually.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, she just said, oh, just use this one,
Mm-hmm.
whichever
Or she
one.
might have another one in her pocket
Yeah.
that, I can show it to you guys.
I like like that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's more
one.
appropriate.
That is much
And then there
more.
was. So she.
I don't know, I like them both.
So that's all three together.
The woods and the water.
Super cute.
So.
We could
You guys like the
easily,
kayaker one?
Yeah.
easily
I
get
like
those
them
on
both.
hats.
Well, maybe she will let us, I can ask her how she feels about the designs and I'm gonna use these to create merchandise that supports the park.
Merch.
Yeah.
The merch,
Merch
what do you think,
then.
peeps? Because I mean, if you were hanging at the shack as people went through,
Say that
you know,
again?
like at the
Oh,
Bunganut, if it
yeah.
was like, if there was a
Mhm.
picture, t-shirts available.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm sure
You know?
concessions of the soccer side, we could sell them for you too. And like
Hats,
those
mugs.
would go to Lyman. Obviously, we'd keep it separate.
Yeah.
Or go to Bunganut Committee.
Hats too,
I
because
feel
how many
like-
people go there? I
Mhm.
mean, there's no shade.
Blazing
Yeah,
sun.
kid doesn't have-
Yeah.
In the future, if the park attendant is a town employee, that would make it much easier to.
Yeah.
Would.
Wouldn't do
Yeah,
it
much
before
easier.
then.
Mhm.
How can those, I feel like that's something that should be made available ASAP, but how do people access that stuff? Like, I'm picturing all the stuff they have at the Homestead store, right? But then how does that deal work out with the Homestead store? Sure, they get,
They take a percentage.
They get a
Yeah.
percentage.
and we wouldn't want to do that, right?
For
Well,
who?
they might let us have a flyer,
Oh, we need like a little
a little cubby,
shop.
maybe a little
Yeah.
cubby. They would let us.
Oh yeah, the library would
I
definitely,
don't know
you could
about-
do that. I bet you they'd sell them out of here
I'm
for
just
us.
thinking about, like, I live on Oscar Littlefield and I don't,
Yeah.
pond access.
Why not?
And there's out of towners up and down.
Why
I'm
did
just
they say
thinking of
that?
the people that are renting, that are just doing summer rentals on all these ponds. There's a lot. And I think they would be interested in items
Well-
like that, but they're not gonna go to the library.
But you know, I was thinking too, is like if there was a sign down at Kennebunk Pond that showed this available and you could scan a QR code, it brings you to, because they have that new program where you can pay for things online through the town. So it would automatically go through and
If
give
you
you,
get merchandise.
right.
I think we're
way ahead, though.
looking
Let
too
me
far
talk- yeah,
ahead.
Let me talk to
You're right.
Lindsay about the
Start with the
graphics
yard
and how she feels
Start with
about
the
that.
yard sale and then
Yeah.
maybe another town event and then, and even, that's even if we can get the merch by the yard sale. If we,
That can happen, that's no problem. But I gotta talk to Lindsay first and foremost about the
Right.
graphics and whether we can use them or whether we have to do, because we do have the drawings I've been trying to digitally do, but that takes a lot of time and I have bad eyesight. I got one of them half done.
Where's the money gonna come from to buy the merch?
I mean, it's not that much. I don't care. I'll show you guys what the pricing is and either come out of our funding, like some of the stuff that we used to do, it might be like $250 to get a large amount of product.
it's gonna be more than that, but
No, not where I go.
Could
But
also
like-
set up a digital store.
It's gonna
and
be
have it
decent
print
though, it
online.
can't be junk.
It
You
is.
get a
it's,
percentage of.
we use it for business.
yeah, RSD will do things like that. where You
Yeah.
can set up like an online thing and you get a percentage of the sales. But if we can get it at a cheaper price and then just sell it and make all the profit, that's a way better way to do it. We just
And we
need
do
to
Business
be,
Print has pretty quality stuff too, and they're not that bad, but the place that we used was cheaper. And it was quality.
and I just say we wouldn't want to order too much at a
No.
time either.
Better to sell out.
Yeah. So I can show you guys, like I said, the first thing is graphics. I need to know
Yep.
whether Lindsay's like, no, I'm keeping that for the town, you can't
Yeah.
use that.
If you can't, let me know and we can literally use Canva and make something.
Right, but we all kind of getting the idea of what we like, what we thought was really pretty, what we'll go.
Mhm.
We have to make them a water bottle. We're just getting to the water bottle, right? So
Just make them
everyone's,
not too
so I'll have a, 50-50 raffle with a poster board. That sound good to everyone for the
Mhm.
yard sale?
Mhm.
If anyone wants to come sit with me, I would gladly love you sitting next to me. It's September 14th.
What is it?
September 14th, it's a Saturday. I'm just sitting there with a happy face and a jar for people that just want to drop money in it. And, here's a piece of
And
candy,
it's at
give me
the
your
fire
money.
station.
And,
Library.
if they ask for Venmo, I'll have my
Library.
Venmo QR, they can donate, just say Bunganut on it, and I'll turn the money in, and do it that way, whichever way works best. To get donations, and it'll be
Wait,
good
the whole
exposure that we're
ship
trying to
You go to
Yeah.
revitalize the park. So, any other thoughts for the yard sale?
Oh.
I mean,
I think that's kind of a cool thing to, Bunganut Park revitalization as kind of your umbrella. I
Yeah,
like that.
I like that. Keep it simple. People
Yeah.
don't like too much information.
Yep, I'll take pictures like of the parking lot on the field sites, everyone complains about that,
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
Improve
I
parking.
really think that's an easy project that we can do sooner rather than later.
Right, and like I said, once we get estimates and thoughts from Acorn, this is where we can say, this is what we have for funding. We know we can, I have the paperwork to, which I'll bring next time. We have to create our own budget to submit to budget committee and select board. So I was forwarded the paperwork from the manager, town manager, for us to outline what funding we would like from the town. So we will need to have that by end of the year to them. So I'll put that on our agenda for one of our next meetings. I'll bring the paperwork for us all to see. And we can kind of, I think after our meeting with Acorn, we all can really know what we're looking at. And then we can ask for funding. And Karen and I know the budget process is lengthy, it's long. We all think long and hard, fiscally responsible. Select board is too. And see what we can get for funding from the town. And I think just the fact that we can show we are going for grants, we are looking to do things ourselves, sell product, do things.
Was Acorn considered for the other side as well, like the
Yes.
parking? Because I've kind of forgotten about that.
Yes.
Sad to say, I've been like just focusing on the water
Yeah,
side.
we talked to them about the field side, we told them we envisioned someday, someday it would be nice to have basketball courts, pickleball courts, parking, a facility for people to be able to use. So they totally understood all that, so that we told them our goal, because it's a very large park. And again, it's a very large vision, but that's where it's baby steps as we get there. But someone lining out for us an approximate cost for a project like this, or you have acreage for that, or you have a space for this that would fit in here, and parking to go, to be able to lay it out from us from above. They have all our pictures, that actually should give them access to more as we go on here. They'll be able to plug away and show us, and then we'll have visuals of everything as we go, and say, okay, we're ready to go to this area. Can you lay it out? And they'll send us maybe a little packet where we'll know what we have to put out for bid, if it's over a certain amount, which I'm sure some of these projects will be. So that's, the bonus with them is we'll have, depending what the area is, whether we need the engineer or whether we need the architect, we've got both.
One of
Same
the
place.
questions maybe Joe could answer, or Dave. I was wondering, I should have asked Matt, because I'm sure he'd know too, is if we can apply for different grants within the same year or time frame. If it's federal money, can we apply for this land and water conservation one? And can somebody else on the side be doing one for playground equipment through a totally different grant program?
Yes, we can. That's my understanding. You probably can't apply for 2 grants for trails. It's probably like,
I don't know though, if it's federal money, can you
Right.
receive federal money from different
yes,
sources for the same property, for different projects within the same year? I don't know.
well, there's also different, there's, I I don't see why you couldn't, but I wrote that down.
It's a
Lin-
good
Lindsay might know.
question. I have,
Yeah,
I think you can, but
I think you can too. Just-
Well, let's Google it. Wanna Google?
There are
Did you Google?
trail-specific grants. There's the playground
yeah.
specific grants. There's, the boat launch ones. So
But there's also more than federal funding, there's state funding.
Right.
yeah. So I think maybe it depends on. I wanna say
Maybe
for
you
the
can do
federal,
one
you can.
federal, but you can also do state and outside.
For the same like location or property. I don't know.
It says you can prepare one proposal and submit it to multiple funders.
Then it says the same work cannot be funded twice.
So you can't fund the same work twice. But you can apply for more.
Right. So you can use
Right.
one for one side of the road,
Yeah.
one for the
So you
other,
can't
one
say, oh,
for.
this one gave us, this one just gave us playground equipment money.
So-
Oh, and this one's gonna give us two. You can't do that. You'd have to accept one and deny the other.
What's
Oh,
wrong,
yeah.
buddy?
Yeah.
More than just a quick Google search on
What's
it.
wrong, buddy?
Yeah,
Joe might know.
yeah.
Nope, I'm not.
Typically right
I
now,
gotta get off
because the park, we applied for disaster funding for all the trees
Yeah.
taken down. Is that the state or federal emergency management?
Oh, geez, I don't know. See, but I don't think that would impact us either, because it's still a different reason we have it. Okay, so I have that written down to ask about that. So yard sale, April 14th. So it's either 8:30 or 8, but I think I'll have to look, it's on the library. Community
That guy
library
will know the
yard
answer to that
sale.
too, right? Can just ask him.
September 14th, 8 AM to 2 PM. Okay. And I'll be there for the whole thing, obviously, if anyone wants to come and sit with me.
Is that the Saturday?
Yes, ma'am, it is. I'll be there, and so I'll work on merchandise stuff, once I know about graphics. Okay. And then, actually, I just think they're proceeding with writing grants, everyone is good with us going forward with Matt, and just trying to get down that path with grants with Matt from the land, water, I'm not gonna say it.
Mm-hmm. Matt.
Matt.
Matt's grant.
Matt's grant, everyone good with, like, Holly and I kind of pushing forward with him.
Is that federal? Or is it state?
Federal.
Yeah, and that would be, again, it's gonna take a while to get there, but we would have a lot of hand holding and a lot of help, and we have till next June to get it done, but we want to kind of get it going. Everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right.
Did we talk about you guys? Did you go with Joe to?
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
have any input?
he didn't make it.
Oh, we
So it was
did
just
make
Kevin and I.
Okay.
We'll have to follow up with him.
Because he
I
could
didn't.
help too, right, with the grant writing. Is that what he?
Does Joe need, what kind of information does Joe need from us in order to do the grant writing for AARP?
He has to almost do a mini comprehensive plan for the AARP submission. I have given him the data that was garnered from the study that was done of Lyman, that the comprehensive plan is using for comprehensive plan. So I've sent him all the links to
That's,
the data for him to pull, because they're gonna want a lot of statistics.
right, that's like census type statistics, right?
Census, and they have the data that was pulled from that, I can't even begin, I mean, I encourage anyone to go look, because it'll blow your mind. It's mind boggling. You can look at anything. You can look up accidents in our town. For for is in by intersection or by type of accident or age. I mean, it's just, it tells you how far people work from where they live, or there's so much data in there, and there's data about our water sources and environment, and I wish the select board would do a workshop on it, just sit and have someone go through it with them, because it's mind-boggling. It's, oh boy, mind. And it was,
send us a link to it?
I can, it was a study he had requested, you can request this, the agricultural department that does it. And they do it on towns every so often, but if you haven't had it done in a while and you're frustrated for like a comp plan, you requested it and you'll get on the next list. So we were put on it in January, we just got the data in June. But it's astronomical, it's really cool. Portal's a little weird to get used to, but as long as you start looking, there's all these little places you can find, oh, I can find that statistic, or oh, I can, it's really, but it really is, what surprised me most is since the last census, and then the census is done every, how many years? Every 10? According to the census, in 2022, so 2012, our population only grew 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you have that, and you think of our tax base and what has happened and what's going to continue to happen. I'll digress on that. Anywho, tax burden's going to keep going up, and small populations. I don't know how that happened. But there was like a jump up in the 80s to the 90s from like 2000 to 3. So it's kind of neat to see how it's gone, but I was surprised we stayed that static considering that was during COVID when there was a massive influx of people moving in. We have a very large aging population too, as you look at the ages. Just for a kicks and giggles, because we don't have enough to do, has anyone come across playground or field grants, or anyone want to dabble at least looking at those?
I think I had
You had on that one?
way back. I might have printed some out. I know there are, for sure. I just don't remember if I had printed it out to bring with.
How many state or federal do you know?
Not off the top of my head, I don't. No. Land and water conservation, I don't know, there's quite a few.
You mean field, like adding new fields, or the
Grants
one?
for night lighting?
Yeah.
Grants for new fencing or for bleachers, or grants for a new field?
I mean, this land
Anything.
and water conservation
I
fund
can
covers
probably
it.
look. Yeah,
Well,
that's
was
what I
looking at
thought.
thinking things for like
Mhm.
sports grants.
I'd
lists.
rather look at the sports grants. I mean, I am already looking at playground ones for the school,
For the school.
but I'm happy to see what I can find because I would like to see more ball fields, like baseball fields in the back.
Yep.
I think it would be a huge
Basketball
profit for the
courts.
town eventually to have
100%.
like tournaments there.
Yeah, if you want to look into that and see what there is, I mean, there might be grants for night
Mhm.
lighting, who knows?
Yeah.
Bleachers that are good, because there's some really good seating all the way around the field for parents.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to look and see if there's anything there, because again, as we are realizing with grants,
Pickleball, that's a-
pickleball's. a big
Pickleball's
one.
huge, yeah.
Yes, so we had, so if we had pickleball or tennis courts or basketball courts, because at that point you're gonna fence a whole area in, maybe we'll go for gold. If there's grants for stuff like that, that'd be fascinating
Yeah.
to know there is, and, be able to earmark land to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be great. And again, something to be able to present to Acorn, saying, hey, these are, and I did mention all those things to them, so they might have it on their little plot and map for us.
Something I came across, I don't know what I was looking for, but just thought it's not a grade, just put an RFP out recently, looking for a basketball court and pickleball courts.
Oh, they did?
Huh.
Oh, right?
Yeah, it was an RFP, so I didn't look at the details of it, but I didn't see the specs. As part of the RFP, maybe to get an idea of.
But maybe I
and
could-
look into the future, what the bids come in at.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
maybe I can
Mhm.
get a copy of
See
the bids,
who-
because it'll be public record.
Mm-hmm.
So after they get their bids in, I'll see if I can get a copy of all that stuff. And
That would be
specs and
huge.
stuff.
Get grants too.
Yeah.
And I'll see if they got anything. I'll make a phone call.
Yeah, I like, especially the pickleball one. I'm less inclined about basketball right now because if we have volleyball, pickleball, and if we could add softball and baseball fields, I really think we'd get way more money. We're not going to get much from a basketball court, honestly, right now. especially when there's one right down the road in
Nice.
Alfred.
Oh, yeah. Always. Yeah, so let me see, I'll look to see, do you know when their bids were all due? I'll take a peek.
Yeah, I just happened to stumble across it. I saw that. It was-
Kevin, in all your plotting, have you seen areas that you think would work for those type of things?
I can
Or
actually-
if
I
that's
can
something
take a
you
look
could look
to,
for?
see what we have for land out
Yeah.
back and try to place like a baseball
Yep.
diamond, soccer
Yeah.
fields, pickleball.
Yep.
And parking near all the
In park.
Yep.
Yeah.
fields
I'll
as
see
you
what I
go,
can
trails.
do.
Yeah.
It would be great to be able
Let me
to
know
see
what
that.
you need or what you think, and I can send you thoughts too.
That's why I think they're so critical. They know about the irrigation pond down below. So we really did go over quite a bit with Acorn. And once we, you know, what I want to do is actually give them access to all the maps. Maybe you can do that for me, Kevin, put all the maps you think they'll need in a folder for them. Well, there's already a folder going with them. Do you want to just copy maps into there for them and stuff you have for them? And we can just let them know and put more maps in there for them to view for their, as they do things. That'll really, I think, help them as well, because you've already done a lot of that for them. They said everyone should have a Kevin on their committee. They're very impressed with Kevin and his knowledge and his
Yes.
graphics and his drawing of things. They're like, oh, you guys already have an engineer. I'm like, no, we have Kevin. So, but he is an engineer, so we just have a Kevin. So they were very impressed with Kevin and everything he did and the work he's done, which thank you, Kevin, for all the work you do.
Yeah,
You go above and
definitely.
beyond with your measurements and your drones and
Yeah,
things like that.
Whatever I can contribute to help and possibly save a few bucks.
Yeah, no, it's
Amazing.
amazing. You do amazing work, so thank you so much. So that's all I had for agenda. Does anyone have other that I missed? Or are you thinking about, or anything that came to your mind? Else we talk? There's a lot. We haven't met in a while. There's a lot kind of boom happened like in the last 3 weeks. It all happened pretty fast.
I'm sure it's gonna keep being like ebb and flow, which is great. It's just as long as it's moving.
But I feel like we're finally heading in a good direction. I think it was a lot of deer in the headlights when you realize what a big project this is and where did we start? And then it's like, okay, we finally have a little funding. Now what do we do? But I think, again, it's baby steps. What's the biggest impact? The entrance is the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And we go from there.
One note, when we did go there on Thursday, talking with the attendant, this older lady that's in line, she gave us some pretty good info on, asked her how things are going with the heat issues inside the booth itself. It's improved since the heat wave's gone, but she also showed me a list of Lyman residents that have been visiting this year, and it was quite the list.
Oh, wow.
It seems to be increasing, which is a good
That's
sign.
good, because there wasn't much last year or the years before. That's pretty awesome.
Last year was horrible. This
Right.
year's been hot.
Yeah, that
Yes.
probably makes a big difference. So I actually went a couple weeks ago with one kid, no, both kids, all kids. And
You're brave.
yeah, it wasn't like I sort of told my friends that wanted to go there that are out of towners, like, are you sure you want to go there? And they
Yeah.
were like, yep, we do. I'm like, okay.
Once you get in the hot water,
So I
it's great.
went and it really was fine. Like, the only thing I would probably like to see is not the wood chips.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
other than that, even the stairs was not as terrible as I expected it to be. It really was fine.
Yeah, the stairs were, listen, my problem was people camping out on the stairs. You couldn't get into the water.
And I will say the grass
You
was a
mean the
little long.
stairs, the
Oh,
hill
was-
down, or the stairs into the water? Which one
Stairs
are you
into
talking-
the water.
Into the water, yeah.
We
Oh,
just,
that big
like, you
set
know,
is
putting their
great.
Shoes everywhere and.
No, it was, I mean, there was a little girl like sort of playing towards
Oh,
the
yeah.
bottom of it, but like my daughter was 2. She
That's
can't
what they
swim.
do.
So,
No, that's not.
I mean, it was
I'm talking
fine.
big adults.
and nobody was upset about like the little kids like
Oh.
hanging right there. And it was plenty of space in the water for people. Like it was totally fine.
No, there was, I don't know, there was some slippery, did they trim the stuff that's kind of going on the steps, because I know it's slippery coming out. I don't know if that was slippery or
It wasn't slippery.
not. Yeah.
No,
So
that just the
some
wood chips are
overgrown stuff,
weird.
so-
Like that's not what you expect there.
Mm.
And the grass was just a little long, but I'm just weird about that. And I didn't even think the playground stuff was bad. Like it
No.
seemed okay.
Yeah, they got I think the slide's been replaced, which is
Yes.
great, and the sandbox that was there that had the glass and was all broken down, has been removed. I do not know if they plan on redoing a sandbox down there. I have not heard.
That was something I thought that we could, Holly and I could do. We ripped that nasty thing out and stuff with that still had fasteners in it, we brought it over to the dumpster, and then the pieces that didn't have fasteners in it, we chucked it in the woods.
Yep.
But I think a simple sandbox. But again, I don't know if it's worth it if Acorn comes in and says, this whole area needs to be
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So we're just
Yeah,
gonna wait.
Until, I don't do anything till Acorn comes. in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
We have a master plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was busy, like
Yep.
when I was there.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good it's being used. It'll be more used again. Was the parking lot full?
Nope.
No. That's where we were.
I haven't,
I mean, it wasn't packed, like it was
Was it a hot
quiet
day?
enough. It was hot.
it was.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a hot day, like a weekend day, a weekend, so.
Yeah,
I'd like
I don't
to.
get out of there. We went on Friday.
It was pretty quiet when we were there, but I did overhear one of the guys on, working for the Y, he was telling a girl that we were slammed last month and things, and since the heat broke and August
Oh.
came, it's been quiet. And I think there was a group of kids coming in there to have a birthday party, and all the kids were meeting there on the beach, so it's,
Good. Yeah,
people were using it.
awesome. Good. Well, I'm excited for the meeting on the 23rd. I think that's
Me
gonna be
too.
amazing. I will send an email, find out what graphics from Lindsay about Bunganut Pond making some merchandise to sell. I'll get some pricing on that stuff. You can circulate it, see what you guys think. But first and foremost, can we use the graphics? Because she may be like, nope.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame her. She made them. I get it. So,
When are we gonna meet again?
yep, that's what I was gonna go to next. Gonna pull the calendar. So today is the August 13th.
13th.
All right. And next select board meeting will not be until, I think, the 19th.
The last
Next
one was
Monday?
the 5th, so it should be the
So
19th.
then the 19th. So I will be able to,
Budget's 20th.
I will be able to talk to the select board on Monday, the 19th regarding some of the stuff we've gone over. Do we want to, well, we have a meeting with Acorn, which is the 23rd, and then they're going to be doing a report for us shortly after that. So do we want to make our meeting into September so we can wait to get to the report? Does
Oh,
that
yeah.
Mhm.
Might work for everyone, so, 23rd is done. So do you want to, how's the week of the 16th look for everybody?
Good.
I have comprehensive on the 19th. Do you want to do Tuesday the 17th?
Perfect.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
I could do 16th.
I don't know if that's a select board meeting, and I'm so bad with
Oh,
their
Monday.
dates. Yeah, they do
They meet on
Mondays. And Wednesdays is planning board, comprehensive, and ORC are Thursdays.
Tuesday's trivia night.
How about the following Tuesday, the 24th?
I don't know if that's too far out.
Is it? Maybe.
So,
Yeah, that's kind of
I
far.
think we're gonna wanna,
And the
Or
10th.
is that,
10th would be too
10th?
soon.
Wait, might be too soon, because we have Labor Day, so you figure people are gonna be gone
Mm.
and doing things.
Labor Day's the week before.
Right.
Right, so, but then there'd be, so
yeah,
for instance,
that's
How about
2
the
weeks,
10th?
though. That's
Oh,
from
yeah.
the 23rd to the 10th, that's 2 weeks.
mine has double weeks.
I like the 10th.
10th?
The 10th.
Tuesday the 10th.
What, for Labor Day?
Oh, from the 6th.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
So the 10th at 6?
Okay.
That work for everybody?
Mhm. At 6.
You have a lot on your plate. Is there anything that you can delegate from the list that you have?
Well, Liz is gonna do the playground stuff. Does anyone wanna take over, if anyone wants to take over the stuff with the steps guy, you can take over with that. What else am I doing?
I don't know what's gonna be right.
Oh,
There's a
that
lot of
stuff,
I don't know. Just gotta forget it.
So, amphitheater, I just need to talk to select board about that, let's see. Boy Scouts, just keep track of that. Well, does anyone know the information about docks?
What kind of information,
Like,
like what's required.
what's
to
required,
put in
whether
a
it's
doc?
floating or pier?
Oh, I can do that.
Could you do that for me? Okay.
Yeah.
If you wanna do that, so, cause one's DEP, one's CEO.
Are you thinking just just like a dock with steps going down? I would imagine you'd want some way to get into the water, right?
Probably wouldn't hurt. Just for.
Would you be able to do a floating with like a little ramp onto it, and that would work too, or no?
I think the only requirements for the floating is it can't physically sit on the shore. It has to be like a step up to it.
So if you had a ramp that went down onto it, and then it floated, and then there was like a ladder on the end, so you climb back up on it?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe look into those two, well, just find out what we would need to know.
Yeah.
For
It doesn't really
whether-
matter what type
It
it is.
doesn't
it's just
matter,
a
but you
dock's
have
a
to
dock.
get into the water from it too, yes.
Yeah.
So if you wanna look into docks and what the process would be, whether DEP, CEO, planning board, whoever
I'm sure
is
it's
the-
just, yeah.
is the grantor.
I would assume we would automatically do a removable one,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Say again?
I assume we would do a removable one, no matter what, yeah.
I think it's like
I
4
bet,
or
that, I
6
think
feet
that is a
wide.
requirement.
Yeah,
I am horrible with 50-50 raffles. I haven't done one in forever. So anyone have how we're gonna do that?
so you need tickets.
We need tickets.
The dual tickets.
Do you think the town has those? Probably not.
Tickets?
Yeah. Where do you buy those?
Ooh.
You, Michael's might have them,
Amazon?
Yeah.
Amazon will have them. If you can't find any, let me know, I can raid the PTC closet,
I'll look on Amazon.
but I can't get in there yet.
And then how would you do it? Like, what would you charge?
So you just take, you can do, we do, let's see,
Arm's
6
length?
for 5 or 6 for a certain amount, or an arm's length for a certain amount. Keep it simple,
Okay.
like
What
only
would you
do
guys
2
think is the
options.
pricing? I need things because I don't want to be in charge of it.
Keep it super simple, like 5. I mean, do we want to go overpriced or do you want to go underpriced? How much do you want to make here? I think we
So-
did,
$5 an hour.
So do you want to say 5 for $5 or an arm's length for 10? Is that
That's
too
pretty
crazy?
That's pretty simple.
I am not the one to ask you.
I think
I know.
5 for 5 is a little high, but yeah, no, just do it.
So
They're either gonna do it or they're not.
Well, you could say 5 for $3 and arm lengths for 10.
Yeah. I like an arm length for 10.
Arm for 10 and then
Really?
5
It's a
tickets.
standard thing?
Mhm.
I just
That's
don't
what
do
we
enough
did
of
buy.
them.
That's what we
Yeah.
did for all the bingos.
And,
Right,
Oh.
but you're gonna need a lot of ones.
yeah, I'll go to the bank.
Mhm.
5 for 3 and an arm for 10. That sound good?
Mhm.
All right. So I can do that. Does anyone want to look up about or make the contact for, and that's one less thing I have to do, regarding grants, one grant a year? Anyone want to tackle that project?
I will.
Thanks, Holly. And then Holly's going to get in touch with Matt regarding warrants. Or do you want me to do that? You got that?
No, so I
Okay.
just was reading his email to us and he said, go onto the website and there was templates.
Oh, yeah. I knew you said it was really simple.
Yeah,
I'll forward you guys all that email.
yes, I will forward you. I will write up my notes from that and I
Yeah.
will forward you all what he responded as a
And Kevin,
summary.
you do the measurements for the bridge? I just would like to be able to present that to the select board as an option, because I know they have to look at doing something to it, because it's pretty bad. And they said it's pretty unsafe at the moment. And again, maybe that's something they would do with capital improvement, because it needs to be done no matter what. It's unsafe condition, it's not an improvement we're looking to do. But it'll help give them something, and it be
Mhm.
permanent and less
Mhm.
upkeep than wood down there. Yeah, thank you for taking putting that stuff on everyone. And then, if Holly or you have an input from the Boy Scouts, if he's willing for even old people to come help, we'd
Oh,
like to
yeah.
know when he's doing it.
Yep.
You know, if you
I'll
wanted
let
to shoot out to
everybody
the committee that they're doing it and,
Mhm.
what they're doing or what they need, I would love to bring my child and volunteer and
Yep.
all things.
And the high school, we could always put it out to other people too. The high school kids need volunteer hours. They even need
Yeah.
26 hours.
Even
a
to
lot.
have
Good
something
idea,
at
yep.
the library thing about that.
Yep.
Yeah, posted in the library, community events,
Yeah.
I know he's in charge of organizing it, so I know he would need to, you don't wanna overwhelm the kid too, but there's, people that wanna help and we're here and just need to know.
Yeah, just let him know if he has other friends who need volunteer hours. He's in high school, right? We can sign off on their volunteer hours.
Sorry, Colin? Yeah.
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 I don't know who Wendy is, or if he's good at organizing, or,
This is all, well, yeah, I don't know how you work that in, but.
Yeah.
He's the project manager for this thing. It's all him.
Yep.
Yeah,
can he come meet with us? Would he be willing to come and talk to us, or?
I mean, I think
but-
he's supposed to be starting, so
Yeah. I
his
mean,
time
just to
is
answer
probably.
questions. Yeah.
Usually they come, he meet with the select board? Because usually they come and meet with them, get permission.
No, he submitted this to, he came to the
Yeah.
library at a Parks and Rec meeting and Holly and I reviewed it and she signed it off for Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He put that, Parks and Rec would be the beneficiary for it,
Yeah.
so Holly was able to sign it off.
Right. No, like I said, we definitely would like to know if he needs volunteers, or like if he has certain days he's gonna be working, like, because it's not, I know he put stuff in here, but like, is he gonna have like a schedule of work
I would hope
days,
so,
or,
yeah.
like, that's what we'd like to know. Just
Mhm.
if there's schedule of work days specific, can you show up when you know he's doing it, or does he have to know in advance?
Yeah,
I know,
where are
I'm
his
hoping that's
gaps,
all
because
he's-
he's gonna be getting volunteers,
Yeah.
so where are the gaps that maybe we can help fill?
Okay.
That we'd love to help him get it, move it along so he can meet his goal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here for that.
Okay.
But during the weekday I can't help, but during weekends I can, even
Mhm.
nights I can go help. So even if he does something from 6 to 7 at night, I can be there until he has to do. But he'll be done by then. But time is already moving on him, so
It is.
sometimes it's more the merrier. Sometimes it's not, but the times it's more the merrier, we'd love to be there.
Yeah, I think in this case it is.
Yeah, so
More
let him know,
merrier.
we'd love to help him get volunteers if he can't get them. And get groups where he can say, you're in charge of this stretch, you're in charge of that stretch, and, the youngins can do the steep stuff and the rest of us can stand all around. That would be great. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to,
Did you need help with the board? For the yard sale?
what pictures do you guys want to see on there?
I think it depends what Acorn says.
So you want to wait till after I'll get a poster board and at least get Bunganut I'll get Bunganut revitalization. I'll get that on there.
Yeah, let's see what.
And then wait to see what Acorn comes up with. They might have some before and after visuals for us. And we can show the goals of like, this is the project and so we're funding this. We might have amounts that we can kind of put out there that we're looking for. So let's wait till Acorn submits something. And let them know that we'd love to use some of their stuff for our poster board. And if they don't do it, then last minute we can pull some stuff. If we don't have it by then.
So meeting with them on the 23rd,
23rd?
and then you think that shortly thereafter, they might have some estimates?
I think they will. I think they had so many ideas already just meeting with them.
They're not cheap, are they?
No,
Wow.
but they get it done. And so they have all the connections for all the fun stuff. So like I said, it'll be meet with them, go over it, and then have the vision done. It's a large project, so I wasn't really surprised by you know,
I'm just looking at the hourly rates.
oh, yeah.
I haven't even had a chance to look at that.
It's pretty hefty.
And you're on
Okay.
their site?
No, this is what you sent
Yes,
us.
this is what they sent us for.
How come I'm not finding it?
I sent, you were on there even more. I sent, check your spam. I might have gone in there because I sometimes attach
But I
people's.
Updated agenda for tonight.
Those are really good rates.
I thought you were on there.
Okay, minor rate varies.
Oh, attached
So
was
for a
agenda.
report that lists potential projects and describes what the needs for each is the 2,200.
226 PM.
Yeah, so the total for everything.
Tonight?
Today, yeah. 226.
I didn't think it
I haven't looked at the whole thing. I will print this out.
Yeah, you're right, look at it.
was. Yep, this is the whole thing. But again, to the fact that they're willing to work with us so that we can do work and community
Yeah.
can do work. They're not looking to make all the money on this. They're looking to let us lead and save money in grants and help us with grants if we need it. So,
And this would count towards the reimbursement.
yes, reimbursement. So, because, I mean, we're not working with the senior one, I do know that, so just as a heads up, so. So anyways, that's it, that's it, and then there, I can forward it, so it's not part of the package, if it's easier for you guys as well. I can forward the email they sent where it's just their proposal. So I'll forward that to you, and I'll forward, Matt's email from us, 1011.
Drive.
Huh? I can put them in there too, yeah, I can put, it in projects, I guess, project, or do you just want it in documents? I can put it there.
Do we have to, since Acorn will probably exceed 10,000, put that out for RFP?
Acorn won't exceed 10,000, they're only doing scope for 3,000, 4,000 for all the work they're doing for us.
That's just the initial.
Yeah, any work after that, if it's a project that's over 10,000, they know it has to go to RFP.
Okay.
But they can put the bid in if they want as well, we don't have to go with them.
Right.
But they also have people, sometimes you have a hard time getting bids because people don't want small projects. And that's where they do have people who like to do the small projects. That they would say, hey, there's an RFP going up for this, you interested? So, but no, we would still do our RFPs, it's not a hands down, they get the work. Anyone else can throw their hat in the ring.
They're just giving us a preliminary plan.
Preliminary plan, and from there, we decide where we're going from there.
Yep.
What I was
Whether we want to
Yeah.
keep using them, we only want to do RFPs, and we say, thank you very much, this is good for a while for us.
Mhm.
hey, this is what we see for the boggy area. And
Mhm.
you get somebody, and we design it this way, and then we go for quotes for somebody to
Yeah.
perform that
Yeah.
work.
We talked about literally everything with them. We talked about the field side, we want to see lights over there, we want to see paved parking lots, we want to see facilities with bathrooms over there. You know, we talked about literally everything with them for 160 acres. So it wasn't just like, okay, we just want to look at this. We
Yeah.
told them our scope of work right now with the funding we have is
Right.
not very much.
Yeah.
It's just the entrance of the park. But we want a vision plan for the entire park.
Yep.
The paths all the way down that are hard to get down with the root systems that are there. The water issues coming down the hill. You know, the blazing sun where there's no shade on the main beach. So we talked about all of that and what, you know, and about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what had got me going about the different grants too, was the playground equipment. And then there was some I was looking at for the lack of trees is a real heavy hitter on that survey. People complained a lot about
Yeah.
that.
it's so hot.
And
there's
there are
no-
grants for that,
Yes.
for getting trees replanted.
And that's part of the disaster
Not really.
recovery as well.
Yes.
Oh,
Hmm.
We lost the trees.
yeah.
That's why she
So,
was saying to save all.
Save all the
of
pictures,
damages.
because then we can get funding to get them replaced.
And you really need trees for shade, or can you get some kind of, I don't wanna say gazebo, but I'm gonna say gazebo.
There's shade structure grants.
Yeah,
Like a-
There are.
yeah, like
over the picnic tables.
a structure where you,
It doesn't
They
even
look
need
like
to
they're
be a
grills.
gazebo. They have like poles with almost masts, like sailboat masts that go out. It's, you can get grants for those.
I really do think we are obligated to replant
We are.
those trees.
I think we are.
We were obligated from the first storm 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah.
So
one that they
we
just
talked
chipped
to
everything,
Lindsay about
it was
whether-
already supposed to be replanted before we even had a damn planter.
Right.
When
What
we had,
about this last storm?
they're supposed to replant it from that too. But the main beach areas were, there already should have been plantings from,
I just mean where she's knowledgeable about the funding that they're getting for removing the stuff. Shouldn't that be covering, like you just said, replanting as well?
not in the pines area, we don't have to replant.
As long as you're maintaining a canopy. So there's so many trees there that I would imagine you could
They're
take down
damaged to
every
death,
level
there was
without
nothing that,
touching the canopy. I don't know, you'd have
I
to look
don't
at
think
it,
that
but
the FEMA reimbursements cover rebuilding, it's just the cleanup part.
Okay, okay.
That's a different pot, I guess, as far as the funds go.
and you are allowed to remove so many trees towards waterfront as long as you maintain a certain amount of canopy, so I don't think in the pines we're required to replant. Definitely on
Yeah.
the waterfront we are, and it should have been like a long time ago.
I listened to another really good YouTube video about
Me too.
shoreline zoning, and it was very,
But
it was
for
great.
park.
It was shoreline zoning for, and it talked about all of this, tree
Yeah.
replacement for things that come down.
Because there's difference, like I have land up in Lakeville and Lurk manages that, totally different regulations. It's crazy. So like what applies to a shoreline zone down here is not the same
Yes.
as up there. Like even for us, clearing is different, Lurk has total land use regulation,
Yeah.
has different things we have to follow because we're on water up there.
different people interpret different, because I'm on the shore. And different CEOs interpret it differently, so.
Yeah. I'll find this video again and refresh my memory.
That's something Acorn will be able to tell us, like I
Yep,
said, she worked
that's
with
true.
DEP for 10 years. I think we're in good hands, knowing that she already knows what we can and can't. She has contacts still with the DEP, so it wouldn't be like waiting for them to get back to us, she would be able to get someone quicker probably than we can to respond to us, because that's always the pain in the butt too, is you have to wait to hear from someone.
Right.
Don't know if they don't respond in 14 days, you couldn't move forward.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yep, but like, she does have people, so if we did definitely want to make sure we had approval for certain things, we can get it. But anyways, no, like I said, I'm excited to have a vision, but it wasn't just for that one spot, it was for the entire park. And again, RFPs always for everything going forward. But I think we need this advice and someone who does this. Like, who else did they say they did projects for? They were naming them off. And I know I wrote them down, but it's,
Yeah.
was it Kennybun? Was it Berwick? Elliott?
One of the Berwicks. Maybe Elliott.
I don't remember, but anyway, so they do this up from municipality. It actually on the website states municipalities is one of their top clients.
Cool.
All right, anything else, peeps? Or are we good?
Good.
Good?
Mhm.
All right. Anyone want to ask for a
Motion to adjourn.
yes? Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Yay.
Nice, guys. Maybe we should have that.